Hello, this is Rochelle Agatha, and this is the lecture on file and sheet naming. So for my course of Accounting 104, you realize we don't use a book in my course, so every file that you do, every assignment, you're going to create from scratch. And for every assignment, you're going to name that assignment with your first initial, your last name, and then the assignment name. So for instance, if this was the file naming assignment, if there was one that was due for this, you would name the file by going File, Save As, and I would put my first initial, which is R, and my last name, which is Agatha, and then I would say File Naming, and then I would just save it. Then notice up at the top that it says R Agatha File Naming.xlsx, because I'm in a newer version of Excel. That's all there is to it. If you submit a file to me for any assignment and it's not named properly, I will mark points off, because this is really important for this course, and it's also just an important skill I find in business. If you name your files something that means something to you, you can find them. So it's important. Sheet naming, basically to name a sheet, here's your sheets down below. You can just double click on it until it turns a color, and then we can call this one, let's just put R Agatha just for the sake of it. And I can do that on all of them. So some files you have are going to have parts, so you might have part 1, and then you might have another one that's part 2, etc. So that's all there is to naming a sheet. You'll see the word sheet, worksheet, and tab. Those all mean the same thing in Excel, depending on what version you're using. Just get familiar with them. If you're using a PC version of Excel, you can color code your sheet tabs, which is really cool. You can right click and you can pick a color. So I'm going to make this one bright red, and I'm going to make this one purple, etc. If you're on a Mac, which I use the Mac also, I don't do my lectures on a Mac, you can't do this cool thing. So that's one thing you need to keep in mind. If you want to add a sheet, as long as I'm here in this lecture real quick, I'll show you. If you want to add a sheet, you just press on this little button here with add a sheet, and it'll insert it. This is available in the newest versions of Excel. And I'm going to show you how to duplicate a sheet, because that's really important as you do the assignments. You can duplicate a sheet by right-clicking and saying Move or Copy, and then you say Create a Copy, and you can put it wherever you want. When you duplicate a copy of a sheet, it takes everything with you. So the second part of the naming convention that you're going to do for this class is your footers. So, let me center this. Inside your footer, I want you to actually show your file name. So you're going to go into your page layout, and you're going to select your footer, and you're going to create a custom footer, and I want it in the left section. You're going to insert your file name and your sheet name. I don't care about the path, because when you send it to me, it's not going to be saved on your computer, it'll be on mine. So you're going to insert the file name, and then I usually just put a colon here, and then insert the tab name and say OK, and then say OK. So now if I print preview, I can see down here that it says R Agatha File Naming, and then it says R Agatha 2, because that was my sheet name. Now, if I copy this sheet, like I was showing you a moment ago, make another copy, and now it says R Agatha 3. If I go and look at the sheet, it says R Agatha 3, because copying a sheet brings everything with it. If you just copy stuff, like here, if I just say I want to copy this, and I'm going to put it in a new sheet, it looks very similar, but when I go into my print preview, my footer's not there. So the moral of this story is put everything you want in a sheet. Then as you do the assignments, and I say do part 2, part 3, you copy the sheet over, so you don't have to sit there and redo the footer. When you submit your assignments, I'll check every sheet and I'll look in every footer, and you'll get a comment from me. So this is the lecture for file naming and sheet naming and where to put it in your footer. And if you have any questions, send me an email. Thanks.